So, stop a leak in seconds. Let me show you how. Let's take the radiator valve first. A very common one. Often leaks in the summertime when you're not using the heating. Okay, and it can be either out of this bottom nut here, or it can be this one that joins the union to the radiator, or it can be out of the packing gland. All three of them, usually the same fix often works. Now, I'm not saying this works 100% of the time, just most of the time, and it just involves really tightening the thing up. Alright, so we've got to look at tightening these up. We'll show you this in a second. Also, the other plumbing parts like this, where you get a coupling leaking out of here, out of this joint here, dripping down. Again, the same thing can be done. Usually a little nip up and it's done, but a lot of you are saying, well, which way do I turn it, which way do I go? Because sometimes the fitting's facing downwards like that, sometimes it's facing that way, sometimes it's facing that way, and a lot of you are getting confused as to which way to tighten it up if you want to stop that leak real quick without any other work needing to be done, no water to be turned off or anything. Okay, and lastly, waste pipes. Again, same sort of thing. These can tighten up. These can often leak, and all they need sometimes is just a little nip up like so, and it's done. Because once again, inside these fittings is just a rubber washer, and that's it really. This kind of thing like that. You can see that, like a cone washer. As long as it's round the right way with the rubber thinnest at the edge before it goes in the fitting, like so. Tighten it up, and usually that's it. So if it's leaking, just need a pair of grips to tighten it up. I'll show you that in a second. Let's go back to the radiator first, shall we? The valve. Here we go then. Here's a radiator valve, and we'll say it's leaking out of this joint here, shall we? Get the cobwebs off. Okay, this one here. Make sure first of all it's not running down from this part up here, which is the packing gland. Okay, it often leaks out of there, and you can just tighten those up, not too much, otherwise you won't be able to turn the valve. But a lot of times you've got to leak out of there. Just give it a little tighten up, and it's very simple. Just get your spanner on there and give it a little twist like that, and that will be it. Mine's already tightened, I'm just showing you, and usually that does the job. If not, you can undo this and pack it with PTFE tape, a little strand of it, put it in, poke it in, and do it back up, and that will stop it. Not too tight, otherwise you will not be able to turn the handle. Okay, that's the general with that one. So you're saying which way? Well, there's a general rule. Rightly, tightly, that's one to bear in mind. Always rightly is tightly. Okay, left is loosey loosey. Okay, it's going to become loosey. Kind of common plumbing words they are. So we've got rightly tightly, loose left, loosey loosey. Okay, so you're going to tighten that right, and it's going to go that way. Now, that's the gland. You can leave that top off for now. What about if we're leaking from here? Before you go just tightening that, trying to go at it like that, you've got to be careful it doesn't try and undo this here, because you're going to put a lot of pressure on that as you tighten it. So what you do is you hold against. I use these footprints, they're called. I put it on the body of the valve like so. Now, I don't care about marking it, but if you do want to mark it, get a bit of old cloth and put it around it like so, so it doesn't mark the valve. Okay, get a small bit so it's not in the way of the nut. That's just to show you. Okay, so once again, we put that on there to hold it. Put this spanner on here. I'll hold it up a bit like that so you can see, and then tighten it. It won't go much, just a tiniest little bit like that, but that generally stops the leak. Works most of the time. Again, I'll get one on here. I'll just loosen it off to show you. And again, you just do the same principle. If I loosen this off a fraction, like that, you can see the water coming out of it now. Once again, you've got to tighten it, but don't just tighten it with one spanner, because you could twist that valve on that pipe and cause a leak down there. So get your spanner on there ready, and get these on here. Hold it up right so the pressure's taken up. Put it on there like so, and that's it. You can see how much it actually needs. It's very, very small, and that usually does the job for you. Now, I know sometimes you get the odd occasion where that may not do it, so what I'm going to do is save it to the end of this job to show you how else we can do it if there's no more room to tighten the nut up. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you probably won't have these called footprints to hold against, but you can use just a spanner if you've got enough room on the edge of it like that, okay, to hold against. A lot of people have got these things here. They're just little grips and they're quite cheap and cheerful, and you can put those on there. Again, once again, put a cloth on it if you don't want to mark it when you tighten it up, okay. So I'm not going to undo a piece of compression fitting pipe because I haven't got anywhere to show you. So I'll show you on this bit of pipe that I've got out from the garage and how much it actually needs to tighten up. It's not a lot. I'll use these cheap grips so I can show you they're the best to do it with these, because you won't have a lot of room on there, on this coupling, that side, because the nut will be there. It's no good holding it on the nut the other side. So that's when these actually are very, very good, because you can put them on there and grip it tight with your hand, like so. I've got a good grip on it there. Then get a spanner. I don't use the footprints, I'll get a spanner, put it on there and tighten it up. Now, it doesn't need too much. Again, you know, just feel it nip like that, and that usually is enough. If you go too mad, you could crush the olive out of oblivion. There's a little olive in there and it would actually tear it into the pipe and probably make the leak worse. So it's no good going bonkers mad and over tightening it, as we call it. And also you can run out of thread this side. See that thread there? Well, that can run out, and you'd have no more to run up, because that nut would be against the bottom base of the fitting. This is just one common compression fitting that you come across all the time. I call it coupling, but obviously you've got things like elbows and T-pieces, etc. Same fix applied. Okay, rightly tightly, lefty loosey. Okay. Lastly, again, obviously as I was showing you with the plastic fitting, again with these grips you can use these to hold against. All right. Now if you've got two pairs of these, it's very easy to tighten up, then dead easy. But I'm going to show you using the footprints. Do it like this, and you can see that once again, rightly tightly down like that with the grips, and just till it feels nice and tight, but not over tight. Okay, just that little bit there. There's probably no need more than that. If it still leaks after that, then the rubber seal is probably worn or perished inside, okay, and will need replacing. So it's an easy job. So what about that, what I told you earlier about fixing a leak, say on a radiator valve for instance, or even this compression fitting that you tighten right up as far as it will go, and you don't give it any more, but it's still leaking. What can we do then? Let me show you. So one of the best bits till the very end, okay, it's one that a lot of people ask about. Well, I've tightened it up, and unfortunately I'm one of those rare few where it hasn't stopped the leak. So usually 90% of the time it does stop the leak. Okay, so you've got it as far as you're going to go. What can you do now? Well, if the pipe's on the mains or the hot feed, make sure you turn the water off first, okay, before we're doing this. If it's on a radiator valve, like before, like I showed you, then if it's fixed at 2 points, you're probably safe enough to undo it and use a bit of cloth underneath it to stop any water coming out. If it's flexible, going through a floor like this, then not, because it could drop down and pull out the fitting. If you get someone to hold the pipe in place for you, then you could still do it without draining out. But just expect a little bit of water, and you will need to top up your combi afterwards if you spill any. But that's, you know, really is a case of, if it feels like there's too much pressure when you undo it, then don't do it, put it back. That's not for the faint-hearted. But these ones are, if you can turn the water off and it's on the mains or the hot feed, then it's simple to do. Okay, so we're saying this joint is done right up, and it's not holding. Okay, so what we do is turn the water off, undo it. Okay, undo it like before, and we're going to undo that olive, and when we get down here you're going to see that. Now if it's possible to pull the pipe out, then all the better, because you're left with that. If it's not and it's fixed in tight, then you have to make the best of it like that. But it's better if you can actually pull the pipe, even if it's just up to there, to expose the olive. The reason why is because our old friend PTFE tape is here to help at hand, and this is the stuff that will often do the job for you. And that's this stuff you wind around the actual olive here, okay, and if anything just a little bit in front of it like so, and that would be plenty now. Okay, tear it off, okay, make sure it's not too long, and wrap the end of it round there. Make it around the olive. I mean, it's easy when it's out, I know, because it's not not in the fitting or in the place, probably an awkward place, I dare say, that it's been leaking in. But get your PTFE tape like that round the actual olive, okay, and just get your fitting and put it back on. I say, if you have to do it like this in place, then just get it round as much as you can. People do say, do I need any on the thread there? You can put a bit on there if you feel like it, not necessarily though. Usually that's where the joint is and it wants to leak, it's just leaking. As long as you've got it round the olive, you don't normally need it round the thread as well, okay. Do it up and just tighten it up as before. So use your thing again. I'm doing it with these right on the knuckle because I haven't got a pipe going in that side. Once again, it's rightly, tightly, okay, until it's gone up nice and tight, like that. Usually that definitely will fix it for you, okay. There is some other stuff called Boss White and hemp that is even better than that tape if you've got a real bad one, you don't want to renew the pipe, where you use Boss White and hemp. But Boss White, no one seems to like it much these days, although there is a potable version you can use on cold water that's safe, and hot water supplies, and plenty of other stuff as well that is pretty good for sealing leaks, where you can just put that around a joint on copper like this. You can often put that paste around and that will seal it as well, okay. And that is it. Okay, I hope you enjoy that one. See you next time for the next one. All my stuff, Darren33. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.